Today I'm going to give you a quick garden update. First off, in my greenhouse. Project Summer Veg in winter is doing okay. The zucchinis are probably doing the best. I've got some babies coming on there. Need to get a little bit bigger before the flower opens and then I can self-pollinate. The beans are doing okay. I've got a few flowers on them. I'm unsure on how I'm going to pollinate these. My eggplants up here, these came out from my garden. They were ready. I was ready to plant something else in there, but I am getting a few eggplants and I think, I haven't pollinated them, but I think this one here is going to form a fruit even though I didn't pollinate. And this one here has two. So that's awesome. Because I didn't get any eggplant this year from the garden. Next up is my tomato patch. Not doing great, but the carrots underneath that I grew underneath are doing really well. And over there I've got some cucumber, so that's kind of starting to grow. I'm not sure if these are going to produce anything this winter, but maybe in spring I'll have a head start on my summer crops. My garlic is growing well, but it's desperate for a weed and some mulch. Getting nice and big. The capsicums are still doing great. I'm still getting a few of them, a heap of flowers, and some baby ones growing as well. I need to put a cold frame over this so when it gets really cold, which it started to get really cold, I can hopefully preserve some of these to keep growing. The mandarins are done for another year, but the grapefruit is coming on. Not a huge fan of the yellow grapefruits, but this tree was here already. Learn to like them because it's quite a prolific crop. And also the lemons are starting to come on too. Love lemons, use them daily. The carrots have really started to gain some height. So hopefully I can harvest these in a month or so. The yacons are nearly ready to be dug out. Can't wait for these guys. And in behind there I've got some collies and broccoli and cabbage with some more garlic and a heap of parsley. And some more brassicas in here too, which are doing really well. My calendula keeps on blooming, which is awesome. It's been really successful. This looks like a big mess and it kind of is, but I've got my snapdragons here. Heap of calendula popping up. Some kale and some parsley and some lettuce. I've got some residual celery from summer that didn't really grow. It was too shaded, but it's growing now. Got some spare space. And then some of my seeds that I planted. Now seedlings, these are all my brassicas, so I've got like Brussels sprouts and kohlrabi and some Chinese broccoli in here. And then I've got a heap of weeds over here with some garlic growing through it. I really need to weed it. The hay had a heap of seeds in it and it's just sprouted everywhere. A big disaster. As you can see, heaps of weeds in this section here. But all my seedlings that got eaten off by the mice, they're starting, or most of them are starting to reshoot. As you can see there, which is really good to see. I've got a random sunflower in winter. Got a nice patch of broad beans and peas here. These are shelling peas called Green Feast. So I got quite a few of those. The kids love broad beans and I like to dry them for soups as well. In through the weeds here I have some more peas popping up. Needs a good weed and mulch in here, but yeah, got some peas coming. And this is one of the beds that we're resting. It has a nice thick layer of mulch on it. So I'm hoping that over spring I can plant some things in here and it can take off. The roosters are doing a great job of clearing some ground. They need to be moved along, and they'll be clearing all this kikuyu grass for me. That's the last of it. And hopefully we can get rid of it in here because it's a pain. Really need to weed. I need to set aside next week to get into the garden and get rid of some of these weeds. But I'm going to show you a bed that I planted a heap of seeds in, and they're slowly started sprouting. I've got some bull's blood beetroot growing here. It's my second attempt at spinach, but it's finally sprouted. I've got some yellow beetroot here. I've got a whole row of turnips. They're doing really well. I've got radishes nearly ready to be picked. Love the colour of these. And they're also doing really well. They look like weeds, but they're not. And here I have some tiny little carrots. These are Parisian carrots, and they are like a little ball. Oops, a little ball when you pick them. So they're good for poor soil, which is what I've got here. The pigeon peas are still growing well. Come spring they should take off and they'll hide this ugly bank for me. That's it, guys. That's all I'm growing at the moment. It has really slowed down because it is quite cold at the moment. I don't expect to have any great growth until we hit August, September, which is when it's going to start warming up again. So now I've just got to bear with it and work with the seasons. So I hope you have a great night, and we will see you guys tomorrow.